Hello friends, we are here to do a replay analysis. We're going to focus on Bellic here, the Jakiro 5. It is a party game around Legend. Ignore the fact that it says support, he was playing a hard support. You are Archon 5, which honestly is not that far off from Legend 1. All of these ranks are fairly close to each other, so it's at least a pretty consistent game. In your comment, you mentioned that you made some mechanical errors, but at the time you thought you were doing okay. And then afterwards, when you're looking back on it, you felt like, okay, well, actually, I made more mistakes and felt like I didn't know where I was supposed to be. So we're going to take a look at that, see what happens. And I've seen some of the stuff you've written on Reddit. They're pretty well written, so you seem like a smart player. And usually what that means, like, so if your MMR isn't that high relative to, like, because you do seem to know a lot, that usually means you know a lot of specific things, but you're missing some stuff on a fundamental level, or you aren't, like, you know them, but you're not putting them into practice. That's usually what I think. That's usually what happens when you have someone who's like, who knows a lot about the game, but still isn't a very high rank. Taking a look at items. Overall, these items are fine. I question these Guardian Greaves, though. I don't think your team needs them. And even if you do want to build them, you wouldn't want to build them after Tranquil Boots. So if you know you need to build Greaves, then you should build, like, Arcane Boots instead of Tranquils. So that you don't have this redundancy. But I also don't know if you really even need Greaves this game, because there's no silence to purge off of yourself, and your spells aren't super urgent to the point where you need to have necessarily a Dispel for a silence. And yeah, they're always nice to have on a team, but you have to consider, like, how long it takes to get them and how much it really helps your team. Like, Lifestealer, Axe, very tanky. Whop, often not even going to be within range for Greaves. Invoker, not really a hero that needs to have it. If I had to guess, I see a Lion and a Clockwork, and they drain mana with some of their abilities, so maybe that's what you were thinking. You need Arcanes for that. But I don't know. I don't think it's significant enough. In fact, if anyone was going to need an Arcane in this game, it's this team against an Invoker, because Invoker EMP just drains your entire team, and then that's when Arcanes are good to use after that hits, and give everyone, like, hopefully at least one spell to use. In terms of items, we're going to have to take a look at it. I feel like this is a lot of sentries. I guess this was a long game, actually, so I'm not fully sure. We'll see. I do think you should be buying Dust, though. Against a Mirana and as a support, like, you always have to be carrying Detection, even if two people are carrying Detection. And even if you have sentries, you still need Dust. They aren't replaceable, because if they run out of the sentry, then you're just, like, that's it. You can't do anything. So it's important to have both as the support. We look at player items. You get Boots first. I'm okay with that. Wand. I would say leave it at Magic Stick until you have filled up most of your other slots with, like, small to medium items, and you're about to start working on the next big thing, and then you buy the Magic Wand. It's like the last thing I build usually, unless I started with Iron Branches, in which case then maybe I finish it a little sooner. In that case, I finish it when I need the slots that Iron Branches are filling up. And then you buy a mech next, which I don't like. Because I don't feel like you need a mech this game. Especially if you don't have some other items first, because mech is a very mana-expensive item, and then you have a lot of mana-intensive spells as well. And looking at the enemy team, I see a Clockwork. And whenever you see a Clockwork on the enemy team, your immediate first thought should be, I need to buy a Force Staff as soon as possible. So yeah, that's actually all that needs to be explained. If Clockwork gets on top of you as a hard support, you're almost always dead. Unless you have, like, some mobility spell as the hard support, which is very rare. So Force Staff needs to be the very first thing you buy. So switch those. Glimmer Cape next, that would be fine. So it looks like you got a very late pair of Greaves. Maybe because you had the mech and you weren't sure what to build at this point. In which case, I'll tell you, Scythe is usually a very excellent late game item. Ags as the position 5 is kind of rare. But at this point, this late in the game, 50 minutes, Greaves like does not do a lot for your team. So yeah, I just feel like it's like 5,000 gold that I think you could have bought something else. It could have been a scythe. A lot of sentries, but let's just go into the game now. Actually, I already have it loaded. Here we are. Where are you? Looks like you're not sure what to build. I'd rather you be content with what you buy item-wise. Like, I know we talked about getting out of the fountain as soon as possible, but I think it's more important to make sure you get the right items. Let's see what you end up picking. And eventually you would reach the point where I would want you to buy the items as quickly as possible and then leave. Be able to decide the items that you want before even leaving the fountain, or before even leaving the draft screen. Oh, I think you're still deciding. I guess that's fair. You can start walking out and then just have it ferry out to you. 2 branches and 2 mangoes. I would say, let's see, you're against Marana and Clockwork. You had 280 gold. I don't mind that you have 2 mangoes. I think usually 1 mango is enough, but if you want 2, that's fine. For 280 gold, I think you could either get a Sage's Mask. You don't need a salve because you have a Lifestealer and Jakiro versus these 2. So in general, I'm okay with you skipping the salve. Bop have 2? Yeah, okay, your friend gave her 1. Your friend's only got 2 tangos now. I think you probably should have just given both because you have 5 and now he only has 2. Even though he has Quas. I just don't think it's enough on Invoker 4. I think I talked about this in a past video actually, so we're going to focus on this. But I also think Windlace could have been an option for you because Clockwork just needs to get on top of you, and so all you have to do is avoid Clockwork. And same with Marana, where she does have Leap and she's a ranged hero, so you're not so... It's not the usual reason, it's more that you need to dodge arrow. And having a bit more movement speed in terms of Windlace can really help with that. Oh, I should go back to your camera. And I just don't think you need 4 mangoes. This is really excessive. Only some heroes can do this. So, like, let's look at your first spell. The reason you would get this many mangoes is to spam out one of your spells a bunch at the start of the game. And if you look at a mango, it's 110 mana, and your first spell costs 135 mana, and it only does 100 damage at level 1. Now, of course, you could hit 2 people, but let's not worry about that. Let's just think about hitting 1 person. So it's only 100 mana, or 100 damage every time you cast this. It takes 10 seconds cooldown, and it costs 135 mana, which is more than a mango gives you. If we look at... So this is not very common to do anymore, to buy so many mangoes, but there are a couple heroes that can do it if they so choose, which include Disruptor, and he spams Thunderstrike. It is slightly less mana than yours, longer cooldown, but it does almost twice the damage. At 45 damage per strike, it is 180 damage. That is nearly 2 times as good as yours. That's why he can do this. And who else? Lich. Lich is the other one that'll do this. Frost Blast. 7-second cooldown, 115 mana, which means that every mango he uses pretty much is a cast for Frost Blast, and it does 125 damage. What this means is that over the course of, let's say, 70 seconds, he could cast this 10 times, which would be 1,250 damage, whereas you would only be able to cast Dual Breath 7 times in that period, and it would only do 700 damage. So that's why like Lich and Disruptor can get away with spamming mangoes to cast all their spells, but like for you, it's just not as effective. And so I'd rather see like a Sage's Mask or a Windlace. And if we think about it, so 440 mana is what these mangoes give you. If you had a Sage's Mask, which gives you 1 regen, in about 6 to 7 minutes, that would give you an equivalent amount of mana. So if you still have any of these mangoes by 6 to 7 minutes, then you should have just gotten a Sage's Mask. And honestly, you could have gotten a Sage's Mask and then like 3 mangoes. We already talked about this before though, so I won't go much more into it. Here, this is a positioning thing. Lifestealer is very safe on his own. Sometimes if you have someone fragile who's more important than you, like Spectre or Drow, they should not go for the rune because they're... Actually, Drow is a better example than Spectre. So Drow should not go for the rune because she's so fragile, and because she's a ranged hero, she can support you from further away. But he's a lifestealer who is very safe. He has Where is he? He has Rage that he can pick level 1, and then he's not going to be stunned by arrow, and Clockwork is not going to do a lot of damage to him. And so, and to help, he needs to be in melee range anyways. So he should go first, and you should stand back. You should stand on this ledge to spot whoever's up here, and Dual Breath will reach all of here. And that would also mean that when the other two clump up, so let's move forward here. So like right here, you'll notice you're not able to cast Dual Breath because he's next to you using Battery Assault. If you were back here, you can now cast Dual Breath in this area, and it would hit both of them and make this safer for Jakiro. But instead, you're like unable to cast Dual Breath here because of Battery Assault. And you do end up casting it, but it misses him. It's a bit unfortunate. But that's where positioning matters, and if you stood back further, you'd be able to get it off. Speed up a little bit. It's a long game, so we're going to have to go a little fast through the laning stage. This is okay, but yeah, as you can see, it's going to quickly come under here. As soon as this comes under your tower, what I want you to be thinking about is that, okay, I am going to need to pull as soon as possible. You get the range creep deny. That's okay. And by okay, I mean that's good. Casting on just Mirana is okay, but not. You gonna die? I'm not sure if this would have worked. Well, first of all, you shouldn't be up here. You should always position when you have a melee carry. Well, I won't say always, but when you have a carry like Life Dealer who is very strong, you shouldn't go in front of him unless you know you are extremely safe. And as a Jakiro who is slow versus Clockwork who is fairly fast, and like we talked about, if Clockwork gets on top of you, you're probably dead. In that kind of situation like this, you don't really want to walk ahead of your carry. Furthermore, we know that like when we saw it go under tower, we knew, okay, I'm going to have to pull. That means that there's no need to be up here. You should like already be ready to come over here. And so I would be already trying to like pop in and out of sight a little bit, once or twice, and then go over here. And you can stay here until you absolutely have to leave, but that is about almost now. In like another 5 seconds, you have to leave. So I'd be like just standing here, watching him a little bit, maybe even body blocking these creeps a little so that they meet sooner, and then head over to go pull. I think walking up's unnecessary. This arrow is nice. I think you should have been able to see it if you... So Jakiro, if I'm playing this way. Yeah, you can see this because your creep is here. What were you looking at? Yeah, so your camera... This is one of those things about... It's hard to explain, but this is literally camera positioning, where you didn't see this arrow coming, and if you had positioned your camera up further, you would see it. And so usually when you're moving, I know this is hard, like if you're looking this way to move backwards, so that's why it's kind of, you have to have some way to like constantly move your camera. So like I would have clicked down here and moved back up to keep an eye on this area, to like be watching the enemy heroes. That's what you need to see in lane. Whereas you were looking this way and there's like, all this information is not so important. It's tough, but it's important to remember, like, you can only gather information from what you can see. And so you have to position your camera in a way where you can, like, see the information that you need. Like, when is she firing an arrow so I can dodge it? This was a smart shot by her to fire through the tree lines, but it is also a shot that I don't think would work at higher levels. I think many people will dodge that arrow. Oops. And because that arrow hits, you are going to die now. Okay, so this is what I was going to say here. I don't know if it would work because of your turn radius. But potentially, if you dropped an Iron Branch and broke the line of sight between Clockwork and you, maybe you survive. It's something you could consider trying. But again, like, I don't think... It doesn't guarantee your survival, and then you might just lose an Iron Branch. But, like, can you imagine if you survived another, like, even if that Iron Branch only buys you a little bit of time, like 1 second, if this guy took 2 more tower shots, he's dead, because Lifestealer will get, like, 1 or 2 hits on him. And he does have a Tango and Iron Quelling Blade, so maybe he just breaks your tree really quickly, but some people are slow to react. And like I said, all you needed is 1 more second of him under this tower, and this tower would have hit him 2 more times, which would have put him in range to die here. Yeah, like, look how close this is. Literally 1 more tower shot would have killed him. So maybe you could have placed an Iron Branch and it would have worked out. But that's a big if. Buying a salve. Heal Lifestealer, maybe? He has his own. I don't hate the salve purchase, but I also feel like... I don't know, like, you just saw you were at almost full health when they went on you. They hit the arrow, and then they clockworked you, and you died 100 to 0, and there's no time to salve there. But sometimes you would survive a little bit, and then you can salve after that, so, like, I'm okay with it, I guess. But, like, you don't need to be here right now. You should be thinking about pulling. This is all, like, pulling time. Like, you're not doing anything here, right? Like, how long have you been here? You helped get getting some denies. But overall, this isn't really doing anything. Especially now, once you've cast Liquid Fire and you've cast this, it's like, okay, time to go. This is a 20-second cooldown. That is enough time to go back, pull, and then return. So I feel like I'm watching this and I see a lot of missed chances to pull. And that's one of the fundamentals we talked about, where you can have a bunch of nifty tricks for a lot of other things, and that's important when you get a higher level. But at some point, you need to do like some fundamental stuff really well, and that includes pulling a lot. And you have all your mangoes still. So what did we say? About 6 to 7 minutes? And you still got 4? So I think that shows, like, okay, you can start cutting some of these mangoes out. I think you were going to pull. This is another one of the things where you just have to be really careful of how you posture. So when I'm leaving this lane, I do not want to walk this way. I want to walk backwards this way, because this is as far from clockwork as I possibly can be, and it's as far as I can be from an arrow, to see arrow coming in, to put creeps in between me. It's like being over here. This is really awkward because the only way to safety is through here or this way, and both of those, clockwork is faster than you, and he even got boots now. He would love to chase you through here. If you run through here, that's wrong. And if you run through here, that's also wrong because he catches up to you. And Mirana, like, if you run this way, she has a easy time setting up arrow, which admittedly you should probably see coming. And if you go this way, same deal. Clockwork traps you, and then she arrows you. What this means is, if you have no escape paths from this point, that means you can't be at this location. The difference, like, when can you be in this position? What if you were a Pugna with boots? Pugna 5 is not very common. I'm not fully endorsing that or anything because I haven't tried it myself. But if you were a Pugna, let's go with Caudle. Caudle has the same move speed. That's safer. Caudle with boots is faster than Clockwork with boots, which means that this is an escape path. And that means Caudle can walk up here because he can get away. He can go this way and Clockwork will never catch up to him. And Mirana can fire an arrow, but he'll see it and just dodge it. But you, 290, him, 315 at default, but with boots, he's at 360. He will run you down this way, so this is not an escape path. And then so you like tried, and like I think you see where that means. Like you try to walk down here, but it's like, oh, this doesn't work. I have to run this way. Skip forward a bit. Okay, look top. That's good. Buy boots. Let's see. I think boots is okay because now you have a better chance at running away. But yeah, this is just like all times I think you should be pulling. There's nothing for you to do here. This isn't contributing enough. Like if you think about the very first video, golden experience distributions, and how we can manipulate that in our favor. When you're standing here, you're chipping away some health, yeah, but you're not doing anything to shift the golden experience into your favor. Whereas pulling does do that. It denies experience from them, and they can't really react because there are 6 creeps here, so they spent a lot of time here. And you are getting golden experience yourself. So if we go backwards, let's see, when would you have to go? So right here, I feel like Lifestealer won't die even up here. he has rage, which means if Clockwork runs on top of him, first of all, there are creeps here, so Battery Assault is going to be split up between them. But then he just saves rage for when he uses power cogs to trap him, and then when he sees the arrow come in, he rages and the arrow does nothing, and then he just walks away after that. So I don't think you need to be here. And I think right now, you could either be pulling this hard camp into these creeps, or you could be getting ready to go. You have a bit of time before you need to come to this camp, but like, I would cast Liquid Fire like you are now. I would cast Dual Breath, and then I would walk over here and get ready to pull the next lane. And so if we go forward a bit, so like look how many creeps they have right now, 413. This is when you would be in position here to pull. There are 7 creeps here. You would pull right. Now you would hit it, drag it down. You'd probably do it a little sooner, like 17 seconds. You would try to connect the pull if you need to. And honestly, like, look, they are now free to move. And if you pulled this camp at 17 seconds and then did a connected pull here, like, that was, like, enough time for almost all the creeps to be dead, I think. And you would get the small camp of experience. Excuse me. And you would have cleared up all of this. I suddenly felt the need to sneeze. It was out of the blue. Switch back to your perspective. Still got all your mangoes at this point. Like, I think you know that a Sage's Mask would have been better, or a Windlace. I don't think you need all these. You did go for the rune. That's good. Your sense of timing is good on that. That's very important. Like, these are all times to pull in my mind. This is all pulling. I think I probably would have gotten like 3 or 4 pulls off at this point. Not to like brag, you know, but I'm trying to like point out why I think it's different. At this point, you just kill this creep. Yeah, just auto attack him. Hit it! Oh, you're gonna stack it. Okay, that's fine then. I'm okay with stacking. I don't want... Be a little careful of running into them. In this case, you're full health, so it's whatever. But this does last for a very long time. Many people may not know this. The Vols... Read this description. 20 seconds on other things. For heroes, it's 10 seconds. Does 2 damage, so not a lot. 20 damage, okay. But it reduces your regen by 35% for 10 seconds. That means when it hits you, not only are you taking damage from their auto attack as well as this venom, but now if you had to use a tango or something, it would have reduced effect, which means you can't use a tango for 10 seconds and you have to wait. At this point of the game, 6 minutes, not a huge deal. You're pretty much full health. But earlier, when you have like tangos or salves and you're trying to heal up in this time, you have to be very careful about not taking extra hits. And so I would have run like further that way so that they stop hitting you. But by running back here, you let them hit you like 3 extra times, which again, doesn't seem like a lot, but I think you were full health when you started that. Wait. Pretty much full health. And then you took about 80 damage. Doesn't sound like a lot. At this point, when you have 900, it's not too bad. Okay, that works. Stacked pull. This is the issue with doing it a little too soon, like you just saw there, where some of the creeps were still back here, and then some of them were up here. So I would pull a little later, and then that helps to avoid that issue. But sometimes it just happens anyways, and it is pretty annoying. That arrow, by the way, should let you know that there is a ward in this area. And you do have a sentry, so maybe you already suspect it. Oh, you dropped it there. Maybe making her think she placed it already. Ooh, close. All right, get a kill. Not bad. You might okay, he got it. So you still have this, right? Oh no, it got cleared up. Okay. I thought that was still there for some reason. Oh, I'm sorry. I should go back to your perspective. Maybe stacking? Stacking and checking the rune? Okay, stacking. Cool. Ooh. You might consider... It's a little hard because this spawn box is a little awkward, but you can hit this at like 55, walk this way, and then walk this way. So that they're out of the box and then they follow you. And then you get this. And you can even wait a little bit. So not 55 exactly, but like let it hit 55 and then wait like half a second and then hit it. And they'll chase you out to about here. And the issue with this one is that they turn around and walk back, and they enter the box too soon. Whereas when you pull something like this, they turn around and walk back, and even up to here, they're still not in the box. But when you do it diagonally, they walk out to like here, and then they turn back and they enter the box sooner. I don't know if that was clear, but the point is, you have to hit this a little later if you're stacking this way, as opposed to like stacking this way. But that would have let you get the rune. But honestly, it wasn't a big deal. It's a double damage. But imagine if it was something else, like a regen rune, and this was like a storm. So that can be something you might want to consider. Boots, I'm fine with that. Against a Mirana, instead of placing a ward here, this is okay, honestly. It's not a huge deal. But I might consider trying to get it up here instead, because... And even not just here, but like even maybe on your own side. Because think if Mirana wants to gank Queen of Pain, which I don't think is the best idea, but if she wants to, she is going to stand over here somewhere and fire an arrow. Thinking about the whole camera angle thing, right? Queen of Pain stands like this, generally, and like her hero will be here while she lanes. That means arrows coming from this direction are particularly effective, because first off, they're covered by the trees, but then someone is also unlikely to see them if they're like looking at the map like this. And so having your ward that you just placed be here to spot her in this area, or even like here to spot the rotation between bottom and mid, so that even if you can't see her like over here, you know she rotated. I think that would be really nice, here or here. This spot works to partly see if Mirana's rotating, like if she tries to fire an arrow from this way, which covers the same thing this one is doing. But this ward up here would also spot Sniper, like coming over here or coming over here, and that lets Queen of Pain play aggressively to spot him. This one lets her see him when he's here, but not like up here.
Radiant's mid tower's coming apart.
I don't mind that he tried to do a gank while he is like kind of alone. I do think that these are all times to be thinking about pulls. Does camp not respawn? Is it because it's blocked? I think you need to notice that it's blocked and then de-ward it. I think you had a chance for that. Okay, Queen of Pain left top, or left mid, so I'm okay with this. So see, like, you're like hesitant to use these mangoes. And I get that, because it's like, oh, I don't need it right now, but you're like so low on mana. That's where a Sage's Mask just tends to be better. And it just like constantly helps us out. And yeah, we definitely passed the mark where even if you didn't buy any of these 4, you could have just gotten a Sage's Mask. I don't think your team was turning, so I think it's fine. We won't worry about that much. Yeah. Let's see. Did your teammate take... Invoker is a hero that does not need the tome. You should buy the tome. You should buy it immediately. You'd be 6 right now, which means you could kill someone if Axe. So 2 seconds. Axe calls someone. You Macropyre. You Ice Path. Let's consider the delay between Berserker's call. So let's just have it 1 second. Your Ice Path is 1 second as well at this point. Oh, you actually leveled up. So 2.5 seconds. So they would take 250 damage from standing in Macropyre. And then let's say you slow them in that time too. So they finish up. It takes them 3 seconds to walk out of Macropyre. So 300 damage. Macropyre actually places a debuff on people that lasts for 2 seconds. And so even after they walk out of Macropyre, they will take another 200 damage. So that's like 500 damage from Macropyre, which you could be looking for a kill right now if you had the tome and bought it immediately and had it come towards you. So I would even recommend queuing it up. So you do buy it now. This is not too bad of a time, but it is like 40 seconds later. And I know that doesn't, like, it sounds... 40 seconds does not sound like a lot, but let me put that in perspective, where coincidentally, you actually have an arcane rune. So this would literally be off cooldown almost if you use it right away. But usually Macropyre is 60 seconds. And so if you used Macropyre, like you pick up the tomb, you used it right away coincidentally, very conveniently, in the 40 seconds you have delayed buying this tome, Macro Pyre would almost be up to use a second time. So like the first time, maybe you can use it to get a kill with Axe, like I just described. Or Macro Pyre, see? Imagine if you did that right there. This is actually perfect. Imagine a Macro Pyre right here down this path. Where are they supposed to go then? If they run down here, they're going to die to Macro Pyre, which means they have to cut towards Axe or cut this way. And this way is honestly like okay, except for the fact that tower is here, which means if they run this way, they have to go around here, which means in this case, you don't have anyone here, but someone could potentially cut them off. Running this way is the least favored path that they would want. Even running this way is like closer to the tower than this way. This way requires them to go all the way around, which gives you the best chance to eventually chase and kill them down. And even if you didn't kill them, like I think you could have gotten like at least 400 damage out of Macro Pyre here, which means she's almost dead. And then he is like at half health. He has a tranquil boost, so for him it didn't matter so much. But I really like the idea of using Macro Pyre right there if you had it, and then Axe runs in and chases them. But you don't have it. And I think you could have had it if you bought the tome right away. You missed it. Dodge. Okay, let's see how this goes. Can you kill this girl? Ult him! Haha! Nice. Honestly, that's fine for you. You're happy with that. Ooh, unfortunate. I won't worry about it too much. Like you said, you knew you made some mechanical mistakes, and Ice Path is honestly, like, I still miss it sometimes. So, no big deal.
Dire's bottom tower's getting the business.
A bug there. All right, so I'm okay with this. You came top. Lifestealer farming perfectly fine down there because he's not really at threat. Like, just imagine it. Can he die this game? He can initiate. Lifestealer does not like when people can pierce BKB, which his ult can. And he also doesn't like... Usually he just runs through stuns. But because this is a Cogs, this is like a physical barrier, Lifestealer doesn't like that as much. But fortunately, Lifestealer attacks fast, so we can break the Cogs and then run out, and usually he's fine. Luna only kills people with her ult, which is all magic, which is just raged off. Same with Lion. Sniper does not provide the kind of damage needed to kill a Lifestealer. Lifestealer is very safe right now. I'm very happy to see you up here, playing with your Playmaker. Queen of Pain rotating in sometimes. All good stuff. If you got a Sage's Mask, you could have finished it into a Basilius. Oh, but you had an Invoker who is buying a Basilius. Maybe that's why you felt hesitant to buy it, and you weren't sure what to buy at the start. I'd probably still tell you you could still buy a Sage's Mask casually and just leave it at that if you wanted to. And honestly, I wouldn't hate it if you still bought a Basilius anyways. Because you're, like, look how long you spent apart from Invoker. So, actually tell you what, instead of buying a Basilius, I would get the Sage's Mask and then a Raindrops. Because that'll save you from, like, a Sniper ult, save you some, like, they don't have the best ways to break Raindrops too quickly. And so I think it has a good amount of value. Or just leaving it at Sage's Mask. Just leaving it there and building something else. I don't think you guys have the damage to kill her. Invoker does not provide a lot of damage on his own. Especially at low levels. Well, he, like, sort of does, but it's not enough to get a kill on someone like Luna. He's got, like, 1200 health. And you don't have the mana to use all of your spells. Even if you use this mango, it'll be not enough. So I think you should just be pushing this tower right now, up here. You should just be looking to take this tower. Let Axe... So Axe is going to come cut this wave, which means you have time to liquid fire this tower once. Maybe stack a camp for Axe. Help him clear it with him. And just take this tower as fast as you can. I don't think you guys have a chance at killing Luna without having, like, Queen of Pain with you, for example. And at that point, if you want 3 people to rotate into their map, you probably want to bring a smoke. See? So you do get a kill, but I am going to point out, Axe did have to rotate up. Otherwise, I don't think it would have worked. But actually, we zipped through it, so let's slow down. Let's see how close you guys were to getting it on your own. So she was a little low. Not that low, but like she had some damage from creeps. EMP. Maybe you could have gotten this one on your own. I still don't think it's worth your time. I don't know how to explain that. Like, it worked out in this case, but I feel like it could very easily not work out. And then it's like a waste of time. I think this was all fine. Does she have ult? Almost. Just auto-attacking this whole time. Yeah, so this is part of the issue. This is actually a... Let's go back. So, this kill, I'm okay with this. In fact, quite happy with it. And now I think you have to get out. Because you see sniper is rotating in. You know someone else is here. You know this guy is here. You can't see this person. And that's sniper teleporting. But you know several people are in this area. And you just used like a lot of your spells. Invoker can't contribute anything right now. He literally just auto-attacks. Axe, sort of. But like you're low mana. You're not going to be able to use everything like the way you want. So I think you should all just run away right now. And there's no need to stick around. Maybe you guys were trying to block the camps. That's kind of a fun idea. I would cast Macropyre first. Bit of a bug. Cast Macropyre first because he's trapped in here himself. So you actually don't need to Ice Path. I think you're Ice Pathing to save your buddy, but he's not going to die yet. He doesn't have Burst. Clockwork is a damage over time kind of guy. He doesn't burst him down, so this guy's not close to dying. So Macropyre would get you like an extra 100 damage for free if you cast it before Ice Path. We already watched all this. Let's skip it. This is a long game, so I'd buy a stick with this money. Just a casual stick, which can be built into a wand eventually. But like, see how you have several item slots empty? I feel like a Windlace, Bassy, Raindrops, anything to like fill these slots up. I'm thinking about stealing this if I see a stack here. And I want to take this tower. That was why the three of you came up here. That's why I was like okay with this kill, but at the same time, I don't want you to stick around after that kill. I want you to get that kill and immediately go apply pressure to the tower.
Dyer's top tower, you know the drill.
A little preemptive. I like the idea, though. See, now it's too late. Now that the enemy heroes are here, now you guys can't get this. It's too late for that. However, you guys are making a lot of space for Lifestealer. Let's see how he's doing. Got an Armlet, working on Deso. You're the net worth this game. So he is at the top. So this is space for Lifestealer. But I still think you could have gotten this tower. Like, ignoring the fact that they all four rotated here, if instead of going for this Luna kill, you guys just got this tower, then you can rotate in and look for the Luna kill. Or you get the Luna kill and immediately back out and go pressure that tower. I think both of those are better. And then you don't waste time, like, getting into this team fight here where you guys die, wait to respawn, come up again. Did they end up denying the top? Oh, no, I just missed it. I'm blind. I don't know. Lifesteal actually got mid tower in that time, so that's cool. I just want to see you guys push the tower. There we go. Honestly, this is fine. If they all keep rotating up here, I'm okay with this. I don't... Actually, you know what? Yeah, it's fine. I think you trying to place vision there is okay. And the fact you die is whatever. Lifestealer is super free, except for the fact that he's top and he should be still down here. But you dying to 3 heroes is like whatever. You're position 5. Everyone else is there. Lifestealer's doing great. Philosopher's Stone, that's always fun to have. Yeah, so see how you have like 3 empty slots. One of these should be Dust, actually, because they have a Mirana. Let's skip forward a bit. Oops. Too much. One of these should be Dust. Especially considering the fact that... Oh, I can see this. Usually I feel like I can't see... Well, anyways, considering the fact that Sentry Wards have a limit of 10... you want to be careful. Dust you can buy infinitely, so using a sentry when dust would have worked, sometimes it's okay, but you have to consider the fact that you might run out of sentries as the game goes on. And so anytime that you can use dust, I recommend using dust. And when you're pursuing a kill and Mirana ults, that is when dust is great. Don't forget, dust also slows them, so it's not just about providing vision. Dust slows invis heroes who have been revealed by 20%, and that is very nice. Just some like quick math. Anyone who has 300 move speed is slowed by 60, and that's like more than a pair of boots, you know? And then you buy the boots, and it's like, oh, I just lost a lot of move speed. For you, it's like, what are you? You're 365? So it's like if you lost your tranquil boots, and that's how slow you move when you get dusted in your invis. So that's why dust is really good. I would put this in the trees more. I would put this like, maybe even in here. They never expect that. They never expect it to be here. And no one ever finds it. Like, if they put a sentry here, they, like, never think to, like, walk back here and check their own spot. So right here is a really nice spot for sentries. Let's go back to your perspective. I'm a little scared of these, like, solo rotations into here. I get a little nervous every time you do it. Or, like, a lot of this, for, like, the last 5-8 minutes, all I want you guys to do is to really just push this tower. Like, you guys keep moving into here a whole ton. And I didn't hate all of it. Like, getting the kill on Luna, that was pretty nice. But I feel like you guys keep coming back in here. And, like, you keep coming in here to deward. But you can do all of that after you take this tower. And then it becomes so much safer for you guys to push in here. And you'll have your team. Like, Axe will come with you. I thought this was Invoker. Hopefully Invoker, like Invoker, you and Axe should be just pushing this until you have this tower. And then you guys push the lane up to here, and then it's much safer to rotate into here, cap this, deward this, set up your wards. But continuously coming in here by yourself to try to set it up is like, it's so scary to me. You will die just to Clockwork, to Luna could probably kill you, Sniper could probably kill you. Mirana and Lion probably can't kill you on their own, but they could probably slow you down. Lion can slow you down long enough for someone to rotate in and kill you. And then Mirana, if she gets a lucky arrow, probably could kill you. But you're not going to kill, like, you're not going to do anything to her. She'll just leap away. So, like, for 8 minutes, I think this tower should be down already. And then the game could be progressing. But instead, we're still at this stage of the game trying to do this. I would stay out of sight. Oops, not that. So right here, you can throw in the liquid fire and then immediately back out more. Because what if Clockwork was sitting in the trees? I know you can see him here, but actually that's even worse. If you can see him here and he ulted in right here and then cogsed all 3 of you, and then Sniper was in the back, Shrapnel, and then Lion AoE stuns you. Like, you never want to group up like this against someone like Clockwork. And you want to, like, split up. Even while you're running away, like, you want to build distance so that both of you can never be cogged together. Let's see what's going on now. Top tower still needs to be taken. I also want to point out, to continue my point, notice how many wards and sentries you guys have spent here. Both teams, to be fair. But imagine if you did it once and then committed to this tower, and then you could move on and place sentries and wards like everywhere. But instead, you guys like keep spending all your money like in the same area and then leaving, letting the enemy team come in, deward all of them, and then leave. And then you guys come in and spend all your money to deward it, and then leave, and then they come in. And it's just been like a repeat for the last 10 minutes. That's why it's kind of important to like, okay, I put sentries and wards here. Commit. Stay here. Get this tower. Now I don't even care. Like, let them deward it. Whatever. We don't need vision in this area anymore. Now we want it over here. But you can, like, move on. Clumsy Net's kind of nice on you. Although I think I'm happier with the Philosopher's Stone. Against their lineup, I don't think you need it. you don't have to prioritize a clumsy net. And in fact, Invoker might want it. I would take it if I was an Invoker. That way you can EMP people on your own. Alright, what just happened? We went too far. We missed it. Uh-oh. Alright, so last I remember, this guy got infested and was looking for a fight. Tried to go in. I think Lifestealer probably shouldn't have been waiting that whole time, but wouldn't it be really nice to have Dust right now? If you had Dust, you would hit all of this. Not going to get away. That's okay. In this case, it kind of got away without having Dust, but still, you still need it. I swear. So this is where you start going for mech. Yeah, I just don't think you need a mech at this point. I just don't think it's that significant, I guess. I think the Force Staff to save yourself is far more important. Is she going to die? Oh, that's close. I just think the Force Staff is way more important. It gets you out of cogs. It gets you out of shrapnel. It gets you away from the arrow if need be. It gets you, like, if Luna ult and then you Force Staff out of range. It just has so much utility, this game. That's why Glimmer is also passable for all of those exact same reasons, pretty much. When you're trapped under Luna ult, glimmering someone to protect them. When Clockwork gets on top of someone and you're not able to Force Staff them because it's on cooldown, you Glimmer them so that they at least take reduced magical reduced magic damage from, like, Lion Finger, Shrapnel, her follow-up arrow plus Starfall. A lot of value for it. Now that you took top, I guess we should think about this. It's kind of hard for me when I'm just watching player perspectives. I kind of forget about the overarching game. You guys are sort of ahead, but not too much. It's hard. You guys don't have any vision, so it's hard to make a plan. And part of that is because you have them all, which means I guess you guys should smoke. This is the least important tower right now, actually. So really what you guys should be doing. Hold on, I'll play this so I can draw on the map. So after, can I not draw? What if I'm in a... Okay, here we go. I guess I have to be playing for this to work. I'll just slow it down so we don't miss too much. So after you guys... That's so weird. The drawing also gets slowed down. So after you guys take this area, we talk about you commit there, you get that tower. Then you shift into here. Because remember, Lifestealer got these two towers on his own. So your next two objectives are this tower and this tower. It's kind of confusing when you see all of them. Okay. Which means, so after you get this area, you should come into here, establish vision in this area, and then you keep playing top and bottom until you get these towers. And you maintain vision here. Never let them get it for free. Like, you guys stay in that area as much as possible, and you keep doing that. So right now, if I realized, okay, that's where I want it to be, guys, we should all smoke up, come into this area, look for a kill, and then drop, wards like one here, maybe one back here, put a sentry like here and here. Alright, I was distracted. Let's make it a game plan. What were you doing? You're looking for bounty runes. I would be careful because you don't see too many of them. Anytime you don't see a lot of people, you should be scared of running through river because they could always be like on the high ground and then just kill you. So if you're never sure where they are, after you grab this, you should come back to your side and run on your high ground. You do see a couple of them mid, but it's the same issue. Yeah, same deal. Like, I think if you were over here, he would be way more hesitant to commit to you like that. Even if, I don't know where they had vision. Where did they see you? They saw you here. So if you had been on this side, you wouldn't have been spotted. And if you had been on this side, like, let's say their ward was here and they see you here, maybe they still commit on you, but you're way further, which means Lion, like, he would never have been able to follow up and finger you. which means you might have survived on your own. But then they're also hesitant because, like, this is kind of deep, so they should be scared of going that far. We're at 50 minutes. Even though this game is halfway over, I do feel like we're going to start speeding up through a lot of it a bit more. So you guys defend. What should you do? I think you should do what we still talked about. I think you guys should push straight down mid. I hate that I can't draw without being in free camera. Nice. This is a good trick. Okay. You should push mid, and then because they're still dead, so right now, let's look at your team. Right now, they're right here, and they're pushing all the way up to here. Now you're actually safe to walk up here alone and de-ward all this. So I would probably put a sentry like right here, check the high ground, check this area. That would actually coincidentally get you both of these sentries that are up here. I would put a ward maybe here. And then I would put a sentry like up here, check here, and then see if there's anything else here. And then consider if I put a ward here, then I would put my other ward like in this corner a bit, outside of sentry range here as much as possible. Or like just shift it down a little bit. That would be okay. If I didn't find anything in this area, then I'd put the ward like down here. If I didn't want to put a ward here, I could put it like somewhere here at the edge, like here, and then kind of the same deal somewhere over there. And then I would tell my team, let's stay up here, play in this area. Don't let them de-ward for free. If someone walks up like this cliff, like you can even put a ward here, play really aggressively. Have a lot of your team stay in this area. Lifestealer pushes this tower, like Quap and Axe and Invoker, and you are kind of like farming the jungle, waiting for something to happen. So you're protecting this ward here, and if you see someone approach up, you go and kill them. Or like, if you see someone TV back here, you'd be like, we can kill this guy before the others rotate in. And then same deal. If someone like walks over here, you're like, go team, go, 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 kill that guy. I don't think... Well, let's see if you still do it, actually. You walked this way. Okay, this works. You're de-warding. I think this is a less favorable area, though. This top part is more important than this bottom part. At this point of the game. Later, after you get this area, then you guys can set up down here. But if I had to pick one, I would choose top, because that's where Roshan is, and because it's just more important to open the top of the map than these off-lane towers. We kind of talked about that in the tower priority thing. So the reason... Let me point this out. The reason I suggested the sentry over here covers this tower here, right? But what are the odds that they are placing such defensive vision on their own side, like back here? Usually if you're placing defensive vision as, let's say, Dire, you're putting it up here. You're putting it, like, over here. You're putting it, like, somewhere here. You're putting it along the edge near the river to spot people walking in. So it's weirder to have it back here. Like, some people will do it, sure. But most people who don't think that much about warding, like, why would they put it here? Because by the time you see someone, they're already in your jungle. It's unintuitive for most people. And fairly, like, I think it's essentially right to have that feeling of, like, why do I need to see this area? I need to see this area. And so your sentry does check this hill, but it's also checking this area. And this area doesn't matter as much. Now, if you're willing to commit another sentry, like up here, then this is okay, so that like it doesn't overlap too much. Like you're planning on putting another sentry here to check this whole area, then that's fine. This is very unfortunate that is right here. And in fact, I wouldn't, well, for the same reason, I feel hesitant to put a ward here, because I know it's outside of this sentry, I'm pretty sure. But again, thinking like, in fact, they even have a sentry here where it's like, usually you check along the edges, like as Dire if you're playing defensive. And so deeper would be better. It's less likely to get spotted. See, right now your team's just really split up, so no one's really doing anything. Everyone's just farming, but so is the enemy. And it's like, what if you guys were farming up here instead? You're all farming still, but you're on their half of the map, which means they can't be farming unless they come over here. And I don't know. Against Sniper, it's always scary to go late game, like, because he's really good at taking the tower. In terms of your skill build, by the way, we haven't been looking at that. I don't mind Ice Path first. I think that's fine. Usually you max either Dual Breath or Ice Path first. It depends on the game. If you like Ice Path, I think that's okay. I would consider... I'm still testing it out. I've been doing a lot of testing, but I'm still like not fully sure. I actually think I like the 275 attack range more on Jakiro in a lot of games. I just don't think you're a hero who, especially at the position 5, it's never really your job to do damage. And the 6% on Macro Pyre, Liquid Fire, Dual Breath, it's not bad. But it also feels like I'm just the position 5, so why do I need to contribute another 100 or 200 magical damage at best? Whereas the 275 attack range in particular is really nice against Sniper because I think your team might struggle to hit high ground. And with the 275 extra attack range on Liquid Fire, and then you manually cast it, I don't know if you're doing it. It looks like you are because it's not an auto cast. But you have to, in case people who don't know, you can either turn this on to auto cast, and when you auto attack people, like A-click something, you'll use Liquid Fire. But if you actually press E on someone, you get like an extra 100 attack range for whatever reason. And so with the 275 talent, with Liquid Fire's extra whatever, and then, can I see your neutral items? With this telescope, perfect, you get a bonus 125 attack range, which means you now have a range almost as long as Snipers. How do I... There we go. And, so look at this tower. You'd be able to, by manually casting Liquid Fire, and with this talent, you could stand here and Liquid Fire this tower. And so when Sniper is, like, shrapneling this area, and you're scared of cogs going in, you're scared of a blind arrow suddenly leaving the high ground and hitting someone, even Lifestealer, who is usually very safe to do this stuff, is going to be scared in this game, because he can have his immunity pierced by clockwork, and because he can be trapped by cogs, and because he could be walking into like a blind hex or stun. Even Lifestealer is a little scared to walk up the high ground this game, and so having the extra attack range can be very nice to hit from really far. I've been playing around with that more as Jakiro. I kind of like it a lot, and I just don't think like 6% spell amps that much. But I do know a lot of people also swear by that talent, so I don't know. It's hard to say. Let's see. I'm scared for you being alone up here and like your team's down there. I guess it's just the difference. Like, it's not fully... Yeah, I'd be scared of that. I don't hate the idea though. Honestly, you dying at this point for this, like if it happened to work, I think it would be good, but I wouldn't expect it to work. Especially because you just saw Sniper top. Sniper can just ult you and cancel it. So I like the idea, and as the position 5, I don't hate going for that kind of risk. But at the same time, I think what would have been better is to tell your team. In fact, let's back up. Let's go to 28 minutes. Right around now, you could buy a smoke. You could be thinking about the 30-minute outpost. You guys just got a kill. You're all pretty much together. Right now could be a great time to smoke, get another kill, or to say, hey, can we all push mid tower and top right now? Because look, your lanes are actually there. Like, you could pressure mid and top, and then like tell your team, like, stay in this area, defend outpost, cap it and defend it. So you come up here alone to try to get it, I guess, or maybe you were just trying to be more efficient on the map and then realize you can get it. Either way works. But I think asking your team to come help you, because it is tough to get it against like Clockwork, Sniper, Arrow. Like, there's a lot of things that could cancel your channel. This kind of play works better when they don't have ways to respond too quickly or to cancel your like outpost stealing. It's also safer if you have a... This is the other thing. Because you're building a mech, this is a team fighting item, which means if you're by yourself, there's no point to have a mech. So if you're going to build a mech and your team wants to play aggressively, like maybe that's why you decided to get a mech, then you need to play with your team. You need to have everyone together. and pushing, say, mid or top or whatever together. But when you're by yourself, like, what does a mech do? It doesn't do anything. Do you get a sniper kill? Quap dies for it. I don't really care about this stuff because you're not involved. I just want to see like stuff you're doing. So I don't know if I would have TP'd top because you see so many people here, which tells me a fight is very close to happening. I would have looked top to see like, okay, is our lane pushing or theirs? Theirs is pushing into you. So I don't hate the idea of TPing up here, shoving this wave, like cast Dual Breath and Liquid Fire, and then immediately run back. But it looks like your team decided to go in. Maybe that was kind of the issue. Okay, you were in a party with these guys, so maybe you guys were thinking about being aggressive. And if that's the case, I don't think you should TP top. I think you should TP mid or even this tier 2, but mid's closer, and then run up and be with all of them. But I don't mind if you TP up here, push this, go back, and then say like, okay, now we're grouped up, now we can look for something. I think you had the time to do that. But if your team is looking to be aggressive right now, then this teleport is too far. And it puts you in an awkward position like you are. You're up here while your team is like here and here and here. And Quap is even dead, which is why I wouldn't be looking to play aggressive. That's why I thought you were going to TP up here, push this out, and then come back and play with the team, wait for Quap to be out. Quap to be up. This macro pyre itself is very good. I like this positioning a lot. Trying to hit the cogs, but also blocking the path. This is nice. So even though I didn't want you to come from the top, this is making the best use of it, I think. In fact, I might even not care about... Look at Clockwork. Look how tanky he is, and he even has a cloak. This guy is so tanky that macro pyre won't do that much to him. But macro pyre on a Lion, a Sniper, and a Mirana does way more. Like, they all have barely over 1,000 health. And so if you macro pyred more this way to cover... You still cover the path, but you're more likely to hit these guys. I think that actually has more use than Sniper or Lifestealer can actually, like, maybe get more kills. In this case, it didn't work out, but like, look at him. He's so tanky, even if you hit him with the macro pyre. So in general, I don't think that was a fight you guys should have taken. I like the macro pyre positioning though, and I think your spell casting overall was correct there. But because Quap is dead, it's just not a fight you should take yet. Quap is pretty much the one who kills Sniper, right? Imagine that fight again, where even if you cast all the same spells, but 3 of them are lined up right here with Clockwork here, and Quap blinks here, screams at them all, and then Lifestealer hits them while they're in the knockback duration, he probably kills 2 right off the bat, and the fight's totally different. So it's really important to have Queen of Pain in this fight. And if she's not up, you're just not fighting. And yeah, I want to point out you guys are 5k ahead, but like you're actually behind in towers. And that's because you guys have not been playing like together very much. It's not strictly your job as the position 5, but it kind of is to get people to be together. All the cores tend to think about is farming and looking for kills, especially at this level. And so while you have more free time as the hard support, you should try to direct your team and say like, we should be playing top, like try to stay in this area, that kind of thing. And that way you'd have like a few more towers. So, this guy running in first with Ghost Walk, that's correct. Where's Queen of Pain? Currently pushing mid? No, standing back here. When you guys smoked up, you should have an objective in mind right away. And your objective should be, sure, we'd like a kill, but who are our possible targets? Sniper is priority 1. If you could kill him, that would be the best. Or killing supports really easily right off the bat, also not bad. Carry, it's a little tough to kill her. Sniper is just a more fragile hero, especially because he has a Mask of Madness, and because this hero is just squishy by default. A carry kill is nice, but usually tough. The worst person you could possibly go on is this Clockwork, because he is so tanky, and his job is to be the frontliner, which means if you just go on him, he didn't even try to do anything, and he is now frontlining. So finding him here and then initiating on him is not the guy you want. Now this is not bad. You got the Lion and the Clockwork, but it's also something that I'm not blaming you, because this is just a really awkward fight. This is kind of the best you could place, but I might also like not macro Pyre yet, because I know this guy's just going to walk out, and I would have assumed Quap can kill him even without macro Pyre, so I might have saved it to throw on this Luna instead. Even though she has BKB later, but she was called first, and like hoping this guy bashes her once or twice too before she gets it off. Once Quap is dead, this is kind of a bad fight. And I don't know if I would pursue so far like you guys were. Am I able to do a... Oh, perfect. Sniper, 4,000 damage. Luna, 3,600 damage. So if these guys die first, your team fight's totally different. This is why it's so important to kill Sniper first in team fights, and this is why he's so good at these kind of levels in these ranks, because people don't kill him first. But if you kill him first, he just can't do anything because he's dead, and that would be 4,000 damage out of this fight. Clockwork, you know, he did a decent amount of damage, sure, but it's just like, it's just not as much. It's not the same. You guys would have, the fight would have gone totally different if you find Sniper first. And because he can walk around invis, just let him go invis. Let him find Sniper first, and then you guys can go on him. You don't have to go on the first guy you see. So they're going to get Roshan now. I think you guys win this game, right? So see how that goes. They can do Roshan right now totally safely because you're all dead. I think you were looking for runes on Invoker. Yeah. You got the bottom push out. Should you have teleported there? Actually, I wasn't paying attention. Let's go back a little. It was a lot of creeps. Oops, I went too far. Invoker's going for runes. Okay, you know what? I think this is okay. Maybe Lifestealer should have gone here, but whatever. I think this is okay. Because you do need to get bottom to shove out, because they just got Aegis. Which means they're going to go top or mid. Oh, that's pretty good. Okay, he calls. Macro Pyre. I like it. Hex before you can continue. Dust. There we go. You should also have Dust so that you can also do that. And like, you have the slot. There's no reason not to. Okay, you guys just want a big fight. And you still have Quap ult. Should be looking. Invoker should be looking for someone. And you guys all run behind him. Maybe even smoked. You guys are winning fights, but then like no one's pushing these towers. That's why this game's going on so long. I think you could be winning right about now. If you had like grouped up more. I don't mind that. Oh, this is really scary. When you see him go in, you can't just back away like that. You have to stay nearby, I think. It's not your fault. Like, you should never have run up here this far. But I think you have to play with your carry as the hard support. If he does a dumb decision, you can't let him die alone. So you have to, like, run over here and maybe glimmer him. And mech. And hope he gets out. Maybe he even, like, infests you, and then you run a little bit, and he heals up in that time, and then you die, and then maybe he can get away from there. But I don't know. He might have died anyways, and you might have both died. We won't worry about that much. That was just a really bad play from Lifestealer, to be honest. I just don't think he should have gone in there. Ward there. Okay. Ooh. You guys win this, right? Let's break down this fight a little bit more. Overall, that was pretty good. Okay. So it starts with this. Bop is now dead. Okay. I think I'd probably just use Dual Breath to clear this one because the tower is here hitting him already. And you guys do have Fortify. And I would save Macro Pyre for the next wave that's coming in about 12 seconds. Your Macro Pyre positioning, though, was good. Good Quapple. Yeah, I think you do have to walk in here and die for her to take up some shots. I think I might buy back here. If you buy back, it's 3. Well, actually, let's just see what happens. I think if you buy back here, though, it's 3-on-3, and they should be scared. Who are we watching? We're watching you, yeah. Ooh, yeah, especially because she's dead now. This is really bad. Tell me he's not just gonna kill him. What? Oh, you should definitely Abyssal the sniper. That is insane to me. Maybe he didn't have range. Alright, if you had bought back, I'm not sure if they would have stuck around to be double killed by Lifestealer for no reason. But at the same time, I also think you wouldn't have lost racks. So that is a case where I would buy back. It's worth defending your barracks for. And especially because Queen of Pain had bought back, you should know, like, if she dies again, we're in a really bad spot. And so I don't think she should have gone into position to die like she did. But again, can't control everyone. I might try to Ice Path her and deny that rune. That's just like a cutesy thing you can do. What's your other talent? 275 health. Yeah, I think that's fine. Sometimes you can get the damage talent, but in games like this where you just kind of need to survive, 275 health is a lot. Telescope. Let's see if you swap it in time for this fight, but do keep that in mind. And then I really like Princess Knife on Jakiro, and that's part of the reason why I get attack range talent, because there are several items that synergize really well with being able to attack from really far away, which is what you can do with Liquid Fire and this attack talent, and then like either Telescope, or you can hex people from like 1,000 range away when you auto attack them. It's pretty wild. Consider it. Give it a shot. Some games it doesn't work out, and that's fine. And some games I do feel like I need damage and not anything else. I think you need to be walking over here. I think you have to ignore this creep wave. Your team's like fighting up here alone. Or not alone, but without you. Like, let's speed up. Go to just your vision. Yeah, so you're like here. And you should know your team is fighting, though. And I think you should be beelining it over here, like, right away. And where are you? You're over here. If you had, like, you came from... Where'd you come from? Yeah, you came from here. If you beeline right this way, so this would be about the same. And then you'd be, like, right here now. You'd be, like, here, here, here. You're now in range to help him out and probably Ice Path. Like, she's quite low. He wants to go in. I guess he didn't have Infest up, but if he did, you could save him. And, like, you could be helping with all of this. Like, a whole fight's going on, and you're just over here. This is no good. You have to prioritize the team fight. I know this is a big lane pushing in, but your racks are already gone, so it doesn't matter. Your tier 4s can handle one wave like that. And better yet, if you guys win the fight, then one person can rotate back and handle it. But you have to prioritize the fight, especially considering that, like, some buybacks are down. You have to... Like, it's really important to win these fights right now. Where are you? Like, swap in Telescope and run to that fight. Pushing out all the waves. Honestly, that is good to do for your team. And right now you can, because nothing else is happening. I guess I don't have anything else to say on that, actually. Team fighting first is more important, and then followed by that. This spot is okay. The only reason I don't like this spot is because someone checking for this spot will still get this one. And it's like very easy to see because the tree is cut down, which is different from like this spot, which we talked about in that warding video. Because even if they put a sentry to check in this area, they have to have a ward here to be able to see it. That's why this spot is like better than this one, or like this one. Because even though these are common places to have a sentry, they physically cannot see it from line of sight unless they have like some special high ground or like unique positioning. Whereas this one, it's like if you sentry this area to look for a ward in here, like you're gonna see this no matter what. Having said that, this is still a decent ward, especially if you can only get a defensive ward down, then this is like all right. But you ready to swap it out again right away? Oh, you're just cutting more trees. Would I just use a force staff? I might use a force staff to just run through all this. Well, this is okay in the end, actually. This is a, yeah. This is a very defensive ward, so we won't worry about too much. I don't mind keeping the Philosopher's Stone in here for stuff like this, but just make sure you can swap in the telescope. We'll see if it happens, like the big team fight breaks out. Let's see to make sure you're able to use it. Sorry, I should be on your perspective. I always forget to swap it around. Let's see, what are you doing here? Oh, you're trying to use the sword we just talked about. Okay. I don't know if you need both of these, though. I would only want one. Like either this one or this one. Well, that's not totally true. I guess it's okay to have both. The issue, I said it was okay. Think about what you need vision for, though. So this isn't bad if this is all you can get away with. But what you really need vision in this game for a Roshon fight is to see Sniper and to see Clockwork. And to see arrows, which this doesn't really help with. Sniper should not be down here. Sniper should always be like on the high ground, like fighting around here or here. And the issue with these two wards is that they don't spot him, which makes it really difficult for Quap or Axe to blink on top of him or Invoker to find him. Same with like Marana arrow getting launched in. Same with Clockwork standing up here waiting for a hook shot to go in. These are better when you're against heroes that like have to walk down here, like Underlord, Ursa, whatever. People who have to be in this area. But when you need to see like further up, then this loses some value. Okay, Macro Pyre, I don't mind. Nice. No one's got detection! Okay, it worked out in the end. This is why you need to have dust, but you also have to be ready to drop sentries. I leave sentries up first, especially against Invis heroes, ready to drop them. Like, did I miss something? Did someone have a gem? He does have dust later. But this is like your job. As the hard support, you have to provide detection for this kind of stuff. And you can't hesitate. It worked out here, but in other cases, like people might get away or like are maybe able to turn around the fight if you're not fast on that stuff. And like you still have an Iron Talon instead of like a telescope. So this is the problem with this kind of stuff, where this is like very nice efficiency in theory, but you have to be able to remember to swap it back afterwards during the fight. And it didn't matter that much in this fight, but for every case where it doesn't matter, like sometimes it will matter. Where it's like, man, I wish I had the 12 armor from this. I can't even remember what it's called. The armor item called? This craggy coat. But you forget to swap it in. Like sometimes that stuff can be massively important. And just getting a bit more gold, it's only good if you can remember to then swap it. Also, your team is up here. You gotta be with them. Who cares about warding here when you are pushing the high ground with your team? This stuff like totally doesn't matter right now. They have 3 dead. Who cares about establishing vision? You gotta be up here with them. because you don't know their buyback status. What if they all bought back and these two were just alone? And you're a significant... Liquid Fire is not bad in terms of taking towers. Like, this is 120 damage every time you use it, and it makes the tower attack slower, which means it can't kill creeps as quickly. Plus, so you took dual breath range this game. Actually, I don't mind it because that makes it easier to hit Sniper, maybe, and Luna. So this talent in general is okay. But sometimes I will take the minus 50 attack speed talent because if you look at it, that is a 110 attack speed slow, and that is as much, like, that's practically a moon shard. I know this has like 30 more attack speed, but like, it's really close. And that's really good against towers or against people that prioritize auto attacking. So like Sniper. But the problem against Sniper specifically, it's pretty hard to hit him with Liquid Fire. So in this case, I wouldn't care. But it can be good for desperate tower pushes like this when it's like really tough to push against Sniper. And that's why you need to be here. You can still be doing damage right now. If you Liquid Fire this, like, it's still affected by the damage and I think the attack's low, which means its split shot would not kill off your creep so quickly or hit your heroes so much. And then you could chain stun this guy. Looks like they're going to get the kill anyways, but you would be there. Like, then he doesn't have to use Abyssal, which is now still on cooldown, and it won't be up by the time... Like, Sniper will be alive, and then it's up, so it's, like, kind of okay. But it could be not okay. Right now they're all dead, so I don't mind you guys all up being here. I feel like he should be casting... Tell your friend to cast Alacrity on this guy. Or Alacrity a Catapult. It's actually really funny when you do that. If you cast Alacrity on a Catapult, that can also be quite worth it. I don't mind this macro pyre. But this positioning's awkward. You're like, you are in the front for your team, and that's never any good. You might die. Oh, okay, you get forced. Or you force yourself, I think. Yeah. It's a good ice path. Okay, right now you need to be on Telescope. In fact, were you on Telescope when you were hitting this tower? This reduces your attack damage by 35. You gotta remember to take this out. And the Telescope is just really good for your team as well. It would let you hit this from a safer distance, which means you guys don't have to push up so far. You and Invoker, I mean, so you can be a little safer. And it also lets them cast their spells a little further, including Abyssal. You know, he can hit someone even further than they expect. Like, all of that is really good. And you would do slightly more damage against towers, but also more damage against heroes. Let's get back forward. Okay, looks like you guys are done. I think we skipped a little too much, but, you know, it's whatever. Yeah, this is fine. Luna's dead. You're probably okay. Sniper's not going to come here. This should go on Quap. Didn't this guy have buyback, or did I miss that? He has it. I think this should go on Quap. She does not have buyback. If she were to die, you guys would be in a really bad spot. Luna will decimate your towers. If they won a significant fight, if they killed Luna, I think they could end the game. Or, I'm sorry, if they killed Quap, they could end the game. Because Luna comes up here, and the bounce off these buildings makes it so difficult for you guys to approach. It almost guarantees Axe is not going to be able to blink unless he smokes up. He does have the ninja gear, so maybe he knew. But her glaives will destroy these towers. I think they could end the game in about 20 seconds. If they pushed a fight all the way here, and Luna was just able to attack with Sniper, I think it's like 20 seconds to end the game. And so Queen of Pain not having buyback is a massive issue, and she needs the Aegis. This isn't your fault. They're the carries, but maybe it's something you can say. And like, look at this guy's slots. He doesn't even have space for this. He has too many items. He should not be the one to carry Aegis. He's barely even dying, I think. Yeah, he's died once, and Quap has died 9 times. And so it's like, are you really going to die? Is this the time you die a second time? I don't think so. So sometimes you can have input. Like as a support, you should be saying like, I think this guy should have it. You could still have Tranquils in. Like if you're going to buy 2 pairs of boots and you have nothing else to put here instead, you might as well have it in. I think you'll get, I don't know fully how it works because I never buy 2 boots, but I'm pretty sure you'll still get the move speed and HP regen from this one if you have it in front of Guardian Greaves. So like item slots have a priority, so it goes like here, 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 here. And I think if you have Tranquil Boots here, it'll take the move speed for Guardian Greaves. But if you swap them, then Tranquil Boots, like you'll get the move speed, and you would still get the active from Guardian Greaves and all the stats anyways. I'm not 100% sure though. I have to double check that. What are we at? We're at like an hour, 30 minute. Honestly, that's not bad, considering that this game is like an hour. I feel like usually I would have gone on for like 2 hours. Let's slow down. This is a big deal. So first off, I'm going to point. I think the point I want to make from here is that cute min-maxing stuff is ideal, but it cannot negatively impact your play. And so if you're forgetting to put in Telescope over like whatever else you have, then that is a greater negative effect than the positives of like being able to cut a tree sometimes or getting a little more gold. If you want to do this stuff, you really have to be able to remember to swap it back in. Otherwise, I think it is just better to hold Telescope the whole time and give up like the slight amount of extra gold and the ability to cut trees. I think that is more important. Like thinking about the bigger picture is more important than focusing on these minute details. And so like this push, you have a tier 1 item and your team has like tier 4 items available. So it's, you know, like Prince's Knife, still not in here, or Telescope. Either of these would be fantastic to have. But you have an Iron Talon if you don't remember to swap it back in. So it's really important to remember this stuff. How do I close? It just like doesn't want to work sometimes. Okay, so this ward though, once you place this ward, I feel like I don't want to stand here anymore. I want to go stand over here. Because although this is out of sight probably, you're still like within a direct line of arrow and hook shot. I would prefer to stand back here where I have heroes in front of me. And like the rest of your team is over here. So it's like you should be like back here then with them. Being over here is a little scary. In fact, he sees you in the end. How does he see you? Do they have a ward? I'm not sure how he ultimately sees you. I don't know if you attack someone. Did I miss that? I'm so curious. Whatever. Should we have to go back a bit? I lost my thought. Okay. So, let's see. When he bashed him there, maybe you ice path that. Okay, this ice path's okay to save yourself from him. That ice path was good. Macro pyre position was alright. There you go. Now you swap it in. This is a bit of a deep dive. You can liquid fire this tower out of range. It's totally worth it. I'm guessing this tower is doing like 1,000 damage over the course of this fight. Maybe even 2,000. You can liquid fire it to slow it down, and that would be really nice. Oh! Oh, you're dead. Ultimately, what happened here is you guys just like dove too far. So we're not gonna... I won't worry about it that much. But yeah, you can liquid fire the tower to help push. Also, you see how he had the Aegis and he like died back here, and he was able to get out because he's Lifestealer, but it's just like, if he's gonna play that aggressively, it defeats the point because the rest of you can't go in. So playing all the way back here on Lifestealer is no good. Against this lineup, Lifestealer has to just stay at here and hit this tower. Like, he's not allowed to go this far. Again, not something you can necessarily control, but it is something you can say sometimes as the like 5 support. As your team is pushing, you can say like, guys, we cannot dive. Lifestealer, just stay in this area and hit this tower. Please, like, we cannot chase far against this lineup or else we'll die. And that is exactly what just happened in this team fight. And if you say that first as the support before the push starts, it can help get people focused to know what's going on. Somehow you guys win this game, though, so I'm going to guess they throw now. It's their turn. I don't think you need to macro pyre there. It's not nothing in terms of damage. Like, damage is kind of significant, so you do have to... I would wait for a significant reason to use it. And I'm not sure if hitting the creeps right here was that reason. Let's see. Smoke right now? Push out lanes and smoke? Instead of you using the tome, I guess his 30 is not that good, actually, so never mind. Sometimes someone else's, like, even though you're not 25 and others are, sometimes someone has a really good level 30 talent that it's more important for them to get than for you. And so in this case, like, I think his is not as good as your 25 Ice Path talent. Maybe even your immunity talent this game. No, I kind of feel like Lifestealer will do all the damage you need if you just control the enemy team. I don't think... I don't know. I don't feel like you need vision here. This isn't where they're going to play. They're going to play up here. And so you need, like, vision here. But also, even though this team is now technically in the lead, because it's a sniper, they're just going to, like, chill. They're rarely going to be the ones pushing and playing aggressively, I feel like. So I don't know if you need this, like, defensive ward back here. Yeah, so you are getting the move speed from this one. So I guess you didn't even need to swap slots or anything. I guess you guys probably win a fight and end because they don't have buybacks. That's the other reason they have to be a bit scared now that you guys are up. They don't have buybacks. And I don't think you guys do either, actually. How come no one has buyback? Everyone's on cooldown? I guess so. That's scary. Blinking in. The telescope also lets you ward from further away, which is very nice. Lets you be a little safer when you're doing that stuff. Nothing much happening here. Right now, if I was you guys... Well, for one... What am I saying here? I feel like right now, you guys should know you have more buybacks. If you're keeping track of the buybacks in the game, you should know, like, whether your team has buybacks or not, and when their team should roughly have their buybacks or not. And so, because your team has several buybacks up now, I think you guys should be playing really aggressively, and you should be smoked up and looking for, like, any of these guys and they don't have buyback, and you can possibly even end the game or mega them. And so, like, Lifestealer on his own, that terrifies me. He doesn't have buyback. You four together, that's fine. Are you going to kill this Clockwork? That would be good. No. But, like, you guys should be smoked. Maybe if I'm in player perspective, I can see it. Yeah, you guys, I don't know. You guys have a lot of smokes left. You guys should smoke up, look for a kill. At this point of the game, I don't know if a Philosopher's Stone's worth it. I would rather just have, like, my tier 3 or 4 item. Yeah, like, I would rather be able to be ready to use a Princess Knife at any moment rather than anything else. This is a good macro pyre. Let's see. Ice Path this way? I forget the line. Who cares about the line? Focus the your main. Well, actually, we'll show this at the end. Your main source of damage this game is Lifestealer. Lifestealer will do all the damage you need this game so long as he can hit things. So who cares about a Lion? Unless Lion is about to hex and stun Lifestealer, it doesn't matter. Let him run away. Who cares? Just let Lifestealer hit things. Okay, you guys end now, right? Liquid fire this building, it'll hit both towers. You guys don't even need to go on her, but it's fine at this point. She can't do anything to you guys. Okay. So you guys won in the end, but your lane could have gone a lot better, and then your team's overall movements could have gone better. This didn't need to be a 57-minute game. But you know that. That's why you're looking to improve. Oops. What talent did you take at the end? Macro Pyre? I don't think this is necessary. Like I said, I think Lifestealer does all the damage. I end up taking the Ice Path talent most games. I suppose if you get the spell damage talent, you should get this one. It is pretty scary when you get this, but I think you have to have an Ags for it to like really be worthwhile, because an Ags makes your like an Ags increases the damage a lot, where it's like 180 here, and then it becomes 225 plus spell amp plus all that other stuff. That's when the Macro Pyre talent ends up being pretty good. But yeah, I just don't think, like, let me put this in perspective. 2.5, so 3.5 second stun. Let's see, who would you consider a huge team fight initiator? Tidehunter. Ravage is a 2.8 second stun. So you have an AoE stun on like a 10-second cooldown. Actually, I'm blanking. What is the cooldown? It's very low. A 9-second cooldown. And he has to wait 150 seconds to use a 2.8-second cooldown spell. Now, I know it's obviously different because of, like, it's a massive AoE and all that. But, you know, like, do you see, like, how good that is? What's Enigma? Where is he? He is... What am I, dumb? Where is he? I am. I'm blind. Enigma, 160 seconds for a 4-second stun. And you could have a 3.5-second stun on, like, 9 seconds. It's actually absurd. I think it's so good. And in any game I'm playing serious, I almost always get the Ice Path talent as the hard position. The hard support. But yeah. Overall, your spell casting was alright. I think you need to focus a little less on the, like, tricks and min-maxing with, like, Iron Talon and Philosopher's Stone. Just focus on, like, the fundamentally doing things correctly. Like, having Telescope, or noticing no one on your team was using Prince's Knife and using that instead. Even without the attack range talent, Prince's Knife is still really good on Jakiro or any support if none of the cores are going to use it. I think that would have a much greater impact on your team rather than, like, having a bit more gold or cutting a couple trees. The laning stage, just look to pull more. You don't have to stack first. You can do the half pulls or, like, connect pulls, any kind. Like, I think at your level, at Legend, I think you can get away with, like, any kind of pull you want, right? And just pull frequently anytime you see a chance. And I think just many people will not respond correctly to it, and you'll just win that way. And then just by having a good laning stage, everything else becomes easier. But then also noticing on your team, like, you guys were just, like, scattered throughout most of the game instead of, like, being grouped and focused on objectives, which isn't something you can specifically control, but you can try to, like, push your team towards it. So yeah, that's that. A long video, hour and 40. Hope it was helpful. Goodbye.